it's been insane to watch open season be declared upon every Democrat, everyone left of center, and not really feel like there are Democratic leaders standing up for these, organizations or groups or, places like Act Blue, which are being threatened. Anyone who receives Soros money, which is kind of every dope organization possible. And then you have, the House voting on resolutions to honor Charlie Kirk. Again, somebody who, I haven't even really played all of the clips, man, but speaking of hate speech, openly talked about Black people, queer people, women in the most despicable terms, and was very open and proud about it. Hakeem Jeffries voted for this resolution. Ilhan Omar, Jasmine Crockett, and others voted against it. Just give me the sense of maybe the Beltway sense of what it's been like since this murder and the kind of mass gaslighting that's been happening.
Well, unfortunately, I think it's kind of par for the course for a lot of people. I don't hear people being like, I can't believe how crazy this is, because this is how Democrats have handled pretty much every controversy where they have an opportunity to stand up to Republicans and take a principled stance on something. So honestly, it's been pretty quiet. I think the most upset that I've heard is around this Mace censorship resolution, and obviously the comments that Trump has made about Ilhan Omar around, in reaction to Mace's comments and this censure. Luckily, every single Democrat voted against it, which actually is not, in the past. Ilhan Omar has come up against so many of these sort of red herring attempts to censure her or condemn her or condemn other concepts in her name that Democrats have either, supported or voted against in one hand, and then on the other hand said, well, she did make some mistakes. And so, we've covered a lot of that. And so I think it really is unfortunately par for the course, which I think is extremely alarming in so many ways. And
it didn't pass. So you're talking about, because Nancy Mace has basically been to put her anti-trans vitriol on pause for one moment to nonstop attack Ilhan Omar in an insane fashion.
Yeah.
And this censure, it didn't go through, correct?
No, it failed, but it failed by one vote. Every Democrat voted against it, and 4 Republicans joined with them to vote against it. But actually, we'll get to this, I think, a little bit later, but it's you don't have to hand it to those Republicans. You don't have to hand it to any of these people for condemning something that is so clearly nonsensical. The resolution also doesn't quote anything that she said. It references comments that she made in an interview with Zateo, with Mehdi Hassan, in which she said that the killing was horrible. She had empathy for his family, and also spoke truthfully about the political implications of his rhetoric, and also talked about the fact that she has faced, Islamophobic attacks, death threats, harassment, et cetera, all sort of part and parcel of the image of America that Charlie Kirk was trying to push.
Yes.
But Hakeem Jeffries did put out a statement backing up Ilhan Omar against Nancy Mace's comments. He said that they were racist, unhinged, and xenophobic, which I think is some of the strongest language that we've seen him use on this stuff. But as really you're saying, he still voted. He still voted to honor Charlie Kirk, and it's just okay, well, you can't have it both ways. But I was saying about the censure resolution. It quotes the video actually that it references is kind of hilarious. It's a video that Ilhan Omar reposted from TikTok. It's the entire B-roll is people repairing a roof, but the audio is this guy doing a monologue about how Charlie Kirk's assassination is terrible, and also we shouldn't be excusing any of the things that he said. They were terrible and harmful and caused real harm and real pain for people in this country. So that's what this resolution is about, her reposting a TikTok video. And the fact that it only failed by one vote is extremely emblematic of
Meanwhile, you got ICE tweeting out Pokemon memes collect them all about immigrants. I mean, they're doing the most insane, cringe stuff. And to give you a sense of like, you know, I don't have the clip from Zateo, but, you know, she's going to always bring it. And actually, it kind of brings me to this question more about Representative Omar, who I feel like is more on the cutting edge of where I think some progressive movements are at, and she's sort of meeting this moment. And she's saying things like this.
It was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was a husband and a father, and in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views, or it happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of
what I find jarring is that there's so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life, because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
Ooh, like that to me is so perfect that actually we should just move on and forget the kind of hate. I mean, we will not, sadly, the hate. I mean, there are a lot of like
which
little
is the whole
podcasters.
point. Which is the whole point. Like this is the bread and butter of this administration. Like, anyway, sorry.
No. And I think what's funny is like, all right, you want to do a holiday. They haven't voted on a holiday, but Trump isn't ruling it out. And it's like, okay, cool. We will then use this holiday to talk about hate speech every year because you want us to keep playing clips. I mean, the farther we get away from his murder, the more okay and clear-eyed people are about who this person was and what their legacy was. And so it is refreshing to hear someone in office be so unafraid of, you know, whomever, a lobby, her voters. I mean, instead, like that is the kind of stuff that I feel like that kind of bravery is rewarded. And, you know, again, I do feel like, you know, she's kind of edging out for me, people like AOC when it comes to like the boldness of their stances. So anyway, that's, I don't know if you have any other insight into Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, I mean, I think she comes at this from a very realistic point of view. Like I said, she has faced some of the most horrific harassment, death threats, et cetera, against herself, her family, her children since she ran for Congress. One of the first Muslim women elected to Congress at a time when we had the Muslim ban, you know, like she just comes at this from a very, she's not worried about maneuvering within the party. And I think that has probably, that has cost her in a lot of different ways. You know, she was removed from the House Foreign Affairs Committee. She was, she didn't, you know, rise to leadership of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. And I think someone like AOC, there's headlines about her potentially running for office. She spoke on the stage of the DNC last year. These are the two kind of like dueling pathways that progressives can choose in this environment in Congress. And I think while they are part of the squad, you know, Ilhan Omar basically called AOC out of her name during the DNC last year for giving cover to the Biden administration for, you know, not fighting harder for a ceasefire in Gaza. So they obviously have very different approaches to this. I'm not trying to pit them against each other. I mean, not everyone has,
and Ilhan also, Rep Omar also called out AOC in, you know, AOC's sort of defense of not voting with a Marjorie Greene resolution to, you know, block weapons to Israel and distinguish between offensive and defensive weapons, which I think was the real sticking point that a lot of us were like, this is bonkers. Like, you know, maybe just it's okay to leave it at like, I don't want to support Marjorie Greene, but like, the whole offense, defense, weapons, like what the hell are you doing? So it's agreed. I don't want to like, create more animus or create any animus, but I'm like, there is an interesting difference. And there's a strategic difference as well. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do